Well, hello again. This is Brian Copeland talking. It's been a while since I've said this. I have been down for the last 4 weeks with the latest variant of COVID that is going around, and it is nasty. You do not want to get this. So take care of yourself, socially distance. I don't care if you're in a red state or a blue state. Trust me, wear a mask. It is not fun. So thanks to my friend and partner Tom Sawyer for sitting in and holding down the fort for me for the last couple of weeks. I very much appreciate it. We got a great show today. That just we ran a little bit long today, but we got it got heated. It got real heated about a couple of different topics that we talked about. Brent Weinbach joins us, and Ngaio Bealum joins us. Steve Mazan joins us. We talked about things in the news. We talked about the shooting of the pharmaceutical executive and what responsibility pharmaceutical companies have to the public at large. You know, just simply about being in business. We talk about Love Actually, and we're all over the place. So it is a fun and infuriating show both at the same time. So I hope that you enjoy it. All right, so we got a great lineup this week. We got a couple of newbies. We actually two virgins. We have actually two virgins here who are with us and proudly waving your hands that you're a virgin, and that's good. Good Catholic boy.
For the show, you mean? For the show.
For the show.
For everything for me. For life.
All right, Father. Okay, Father. Brent Weinbach is here with us. Steve Mazan and Ngaio Bealum is back. Well, first of all, sorry where everybody is. And Ngaio, you're in Sacramento, right?
I'm in Sacramento. Just got back from Las Vegas.
So
I'm exhausted.
In Vegas, what were you doing? Were you playing a gig or were you doing a pot thing?
I was both.
Not that they're mutually exclusive. The two.
My gigs are pot things. I was there for the MJ BizCon, which is like the largest cannabis business conference in the world. Maybe thousands of people, 30, 40, 50,000 people there.
Yeah, I was reading some story about Jay-Z. You know, I guess he started the pot business and it was like worth millions and millions, and somehow within a year it's broke. Do you know? Yeah. What happened?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, how
do you lose money on pot? First of all,
question.
You know, that's like bankrupting a casino. That's like Trump. How do you lose money when you have a pot dispensary?
One, they tax the shit out of them, right? So the taxes are actually going up again in California. And so that's actually causing problems because the non-regulated, the traditional market, what they used to call the black market, but that's got connotations, has not gone away because they'll charge you, say you go to buy an eighth for $35 at the dispensary, and now there's 40% taxes on it. So that eighth is going to cost you $50-$60 and it's going to be mid-level. But if you buy a $50 or $40 eighth from the weed guy, it's $40.
See, this is just stupid. I mean, this is really.
I was not in charge of the program. If they had put me in charge, we would be in a much better position. But yes. No,
but it's just. I mean, it defeats the whole purpose. What we've been saying for years is if you legalize it and tax it, all the money, then revenue would bring in. But if you're going to tax it to where it doesn't make any sense, well, why would I pay double? You know, and again, I haven't spoken for years, but why would I pay double when I could just go to my next door neighbor?
You're preaching to the choir, pal.
But that's good news then for people who were doing it, selling before it was legal, right? Because I think that was kind of their issue, right? Is that once it was legal, they were going to kind of go out of business, or they weren't going to have as much clientele.
But it was supposed to be once it was legal, they were going to make it easier and lower the barriers to having a legitimate cannabis business. They've done it in Oklahoma. They've done it in Oregon. They've even done it in Washington. So it can be done. But California has gone about it all the wrong way, right? So there's the excise tax, there's the state tax, there's the county tax, there's the city tax. So everybody puts 10% on it, and all of a sudden it's 40% taxes, right? They also, it costs you maybe $500,000 to $1 million just to open a spot. So
that's right.
If you were just a tiny farmer or just a regular weed man, you don't have $500,000 to open a store and go through all these regulatory hurdles.
So aren't they into that then in a way that they can maybe keep their customer base because it's going to be cheaper? And
yeah, they still keep customers and people still throw. There's a thriving gray market. They call them sessions, right? They're like cannabis farmers markets that happen everywhere, all over California, right? And so you'll just go there, and there'll be 20, 30, 40, 50 vendors, and you can walk around and you can buy all kind of weed for $30 an eighth, $40 an eighth, $8 a gram. You can even get mushrooms if you know the right guy. And right? And so you don't necessarily have to go to the dispensary and pay these outlandish prices when you can just go to a sesh and stock up for the week and hang
So
out
they're
with
messing
people and
it
be
up.
social.
They're messing up legal pot.
I tried to
They're
tell them. They would
messing
not
up
listen to me.
Legal pot. I mean,
I've been trying to tell them for
that's
years.
bureaucracy. I mean, there you go. That's government bureaucracy. When you're messing up legal pot,
In
for
some
God's
ways,
sake.
it's a prohibition through overregulation because even though a lot of cities and counties still haven't even legalized weed in California, right? Because they had the option to do it, and they haven't done it. So, I mean, you can get a delivery in. I think they finally opened some clubs in Bakersfield, but there's still towns where you can't even go to the weed dispensary. So you have to have a weed man or try to get a delivery, but they're not going to deliver to you out in the boons. It's going to take 4 hours.
My
You can just
favorite
go talk to a
story.
guy.
My favorite story of the last couple of years since they legalized it was, they sell Girl Scout cookies every February, and some Girl Scout was just kicking everybody's ass in terms of the sales, and they found out what she was doing was setting up next to the pot dispensary.
Right outside the dispensary, bro. That's genius.
She had a table right and just sold out cookies.
I'm definitely going to need
Crazy.
Snacks. I'm going to need snacks.
You stop by, get some weed, and get some Thin Mints right there at the same.
Right. There's actually a strain of cookie of weed called, well, it used to be called Girl Scout cookies, but there were some legal problems, and so they had to change it to just cookies. But it used to be Girl Scout cookies.
What flavor? Which ones were they? Did they taste like?
Did they have?
Did they have? Were they infused with a flavor? Did they have a Samoa flavor?
Does it matter?
Kind of like a Thin Mints. There's also a strain called Thin Mints too. They're kind of like the Thin Mints flavor, a little minty, a little dark, a little spicy. And for some reason, stoners, everything's a dessert right now. There's gelato, sherbet, cake, wedding cake, cookies, birthday cookies.
For some reason.
Cake.
Yeah.
For some reason. Hey man, it used to be skunk and cheese and garlic and Merlot, right? And now it's like
and automobile accidents.
Yeah, diesel.
Oh yeah,
because it smells like diesel fuel.
Brent, where are you?
I'm in Los Angeles.
You're in Los Angeles.
Try not to be too excited about it.
In the valley. I'm in the valley.
In the valley. And Steve?
Los Angeles as well. I'm down on the west side though.
West side?
Hey,
west side?
Just bailing on us. Just leaving us. Just leaving us. Okay, so the way we do this, guys, is Ngaio's done the show a bunch of times before. And all we do is we just talk. I got some stuff I pull out of the news. We talk. It's funny. It's funny. If it's not, it's not. But we just discuss. We just converse. So we got to start with some of this Trump crap. According to a Marist poll, 50% of Americans are pleased with the way that Trump is handling the transition
into being a woman, or that sounds enticing to me. I would maybe approve of that too. Could you imagine Trump as a woman?
The funniest thing of all time. Oh, that would be hilarious.
50%.
I think that
my breasts are hugely big naturals. The doctor said to me, "These titties are the biggest naturals he's ever seen."
I have huge breasts. They're great breasts. They supported my campaign.
Ever seen anywhere in the history of an inauguration.
Yeah. People are saying how great they are.
The plastic surgeon came up to me, he had tears in his eyes. Big, strong plastic surgeon.
Well, they're saying that the I read an op-ed in USA Today that the Republicans actually have a chance to prove that the Republicans in the Senate actually have a chance to prove the Democrats wrong about how they're going to govern if they reject some of these ridiculous nominees. I mean, he's nominating people for important positions that are going to affect all of our lives on a daily basis, who have literally no experience whatsoever other than he saw them on Fox News. I mean, literally, it's like something like 80% of the people.
Well, you don't think Matt Gaetz would have been a good attorney general?
I'm looking at all the sex offenders and stuff that he's been. And it's like, why don't you just go through Megan's list to decide who it is you're going to. Oh, I need Secretary General right here. Here we go, Megan. He's not too far. He's not living within 50 feet of a school. I can use him here at the White House.
That's all he has left.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, when you look at some of these people, here's some of the ones that were named today. Okay, Kimberly Guilfoyle, who I guess is no longer engaged to Donald Trump Jr. And the more and more I see her, the more and more she looks like the Wicked Witch from Snow White. Is it? Yeah. I mean, is it me or is it that? The more and more I see her, she's got absolutely no background in diplomacy, but she is being nominated to be ambassador to Greece.
Define diplomacy. There's ping pong diplomacy. There's mattress diplomacy.
Well, ambassador to Greece. Charles Kushner, who is Ivanka's father-in-law, is being nominated as ambassador to France. Again, none of these people have any experience in diplomacy. Mossad,
I'm sure she won't be in Greece long because I don't think that Don Jr. can leave her behind.
I'm not even going there. Mossad Boulos, who is Tiffany Trump's father. Tiffany, who we haven't heard anything from in the last 8 years. Her father-in-law's got a gig. He's going to be the senior White House advisor on Arab and Middle Eastern affairs. Because, of course, you want an amateur dealing with the Middle East.
But he's got an Arab and Middle Eastern name. So, of course, he's qualified.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And
I'm actually shocked that a person of color is getting a position in the administration.
We haven't seen him.
Tim Scott went hard for Trump, and his name hasn't been mentioned one time.
We haven't seen him yet, so we'll see. And finally,
he's white passing.
Adam Bowler, who was Jared Kushner's college roommate, is the special envoy for hostage affairs. I'm not making this up. I swear to God. This is all.
Doesn't he also want Scott Baio for Secretary of State? Doesn't he want Charles to be in charge again?
Yeah.
He hasn't been on Fox enough in order to get hired.
Oh, okay.
Kevin Sorbo's up for a position.
Kevin
saw
Sorbo.
Pauly Shore in jury duty, and it was like, well, he's got some qualifications.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All these people claiming they can't get work because of the fact that they're conservatives. Scott Baio and Kevin Sorbo and James Woods is claiming he's being discriminated against.
Hey, we'll put him in the White House.
John Voight and all these people are all claiming that they're not getting gigs because of the fact. Although I will tell you, Sylvester Stallone broke my heart. I've been a Sylvester Stallone.
He's a Trumper?
He's not, is he?
Yes. Yeah.
Which
I've been a Sylvester Stallone fan since the first Rocky came out, and the story of how he got it made. They're actually making a film on how he got that script made. I mean, this is a guy who he sold his dog. That's how the Rocky's dog in the movie is his real dog. He was so broke that he sold the dog for $25. And then when he got the movie, he went back to the guy and said, I'd like to have my dog back and put my dog in the movie. And the guy said, $35,000.
Oh,
you went $35,000.
And that's
what this is the name now.
And so finally, he says, I'll give you a cameo in the movie if you give me my dog back. And he did. But anyway, he was that broke. So he was at a thing. He was at some deal about 2 weeks ago. And again, it just breaks my heart because I just have such admiration for him and what he says about, the fighting spirit and about determination and about not giving up, and overcoming the odds. And these are all things he really did.
Millions of dollars in tax breaks.
And he really did. And so he introduced Trump at some Trump thing and said that Trump is the second George Washington. That's what he said.
I mean, listen, in Sylvester Stallone's defense, he was hit in the head a lot when they filmed Rocky IV.
Yeah.
He went to the hospital.
He had to quit boxing after that, in fact.
He actually went in the hospital.
No. The fight scenes were very real and brutal for Rocky IV.
Seriously, he got hit.
Yeah.
Oh, even back to 2, right? Or 3 before he was before he.
Oh, that's right.
He was he was gonna.
He might have a little CTE
or something.
And he also probably has a lot of PTSD from being in the Vietnam War, and getting picked on by townspeople and stuff.
They drew first blood.
But it's heartbreaking. And so I guess last night or night before last, he was on Hannity, and it's like, oh man, really?
Don't forget
that one
the
broke my heart.
PTSD from that movie with Dolly Parton, Rhinestone.
Yeah.
Rhinestone.
That's it.
That is my one of my favorite stories.
Stop or my mom will shoot.
That's the story. Have you heard? Have you heard the story? He and Arnold had a rivalry going for years.
Yeah,
years, because they were being considered for a lot of the same roles, and they would try to do things to screw each other out of the part to make sure that they got it. So Stop or My Mom Will Shoot comes to Schwarzenegger, and Schwarzenegger made a big show of spreading the word around town that he wanted to do it, so that Stallone would snatch it. And that's how Stallone got it. And he laughs. They were on a talk show talking about it. He laughs about it. And he completely set him up. Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Oh yeah, that's a big hit. I'm doing that. I'm going to do that.
It's the same trick Trump pulled on him. That's it.
Basically. So here's my question to you guys, and that is: do you think that the Republicans in the Senate, who have the constitutional responsibility for advice and consent in terms of these confirmations, are they going to confirm Dr. Oz? Are they going to confirm RFK Jr., an anti-vaxxer? After the last administration killed 300,000 people. Are they going to show some independence? Are they going to show some testicular fortitude and say no? These people are not qualified. Bring us somebody else.
Yeah, well, one would like to think that they would act that way, but given the way that things are panning out this year, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Kid Rock in office. I wouldn't be surprised to see Hulk Hogan in there.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like people are. There isn't a lot of resistance, as much resistance as I thought there would be. So I don't know. I think it's I'm skeptical of the checks and balances.
I don't know if the Republicans are going to try to keep RFK Jr. out of his nominated position, but I feel like Big Pharma definitely will. Something might happen to that guy. He might come down with a weird disease that they don't have a cure for yet.
I'm hopeful.
They're going to find more worms in his brain.
It seems like so far, I was surprised that the Matt Gaetz thing went away. That a couple of these,
I was too.
These names that have come out.
You can't have that guy.
No, I agree, but that's how I feel about all of them. But they've just all come out with this mandate, and they're all pumping their chest. I'm surprised they haven't said like, "Hey, we have the power to do it, so we're going to do it." So I'm hopeful, but I've been punched in the head a couple times too. So maybe the hope is.
Well, but they're saying unnamed Republican senators, and again, they're unnamed because they don't have the balls to come forward and say, that this is what they stand for, are saying that these nominees are not getting through.
Right.
Tulsi Gabbard can't be in charge of the CIA or the National International Intelligence Community or whatever she's supposed to be. I'm confused. I don't understand.
It's insane. 12 picks. 12 picks for who are either Fox News hosts, or paid contributors, or regular guests appearing on Fox News hundreds of times a year with no government experience at all are being nominated.
In some ways, as I understand the urge to want to nominate outsiders, because that's his whole kind of pitch, even though he's an elitist. And he's nominating super rich billionaires.
And billionaires. He's giving
because he wants to create, because he wants to make it even more of an oligarchy than it already is. We already have a little bit of an oligarchy, right?
Yeah.
But he wants to make it like officially an oligarchy. So I kind of get the thing, but you can't really I don't know how to explain it. Cats are entrenched. Right? There's a bureaucracy for a reason. Like, it's a big moving thing. Like, it's got its own power. And I don't know if you can really come in, because you're not the king, you're still the president. And even if you put this person in power, they're not effective because they don't know anybody. People are like, we don't give a shit about this dude. We don't care about this dude. So what, that he's nominally the boss? You can't really tell us what to do. We still have you know what I mean? We know the nooks and the crannies. It's like trying to fire the janitor from the Breakfast Club. You can't do it. He knows everything.
That was a hell of a reach.
It's a deep cut, but you understand the metaphor or the analogy.
That was a hell of a reach.
I don't know if it was a reach.
To go back to the
but you get it.
Club.
You get it.
Okay, now I'm gonna completely, because you brought this up again. See, we just go anywhere. Did you see? Was it Andrew McCarthy's documentary he did on the Breakfast Club? Any of you guys see that?
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
I saw the.
That's
clips.
the Breakfast Club on the Brat Packs.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good. It's really,
Well done.
really good. And he went and visited everybody who would talk to him. You know, he talked to Ali Sheedy. Molly Ringwald wouldn't talk to him, but Judd Nelson wouldn't talk to him either. But pretty much everybody else did.
Why didn't they want to talk to him?
Michael Hall?
Because they're trying to run away from it. Because they really, really hurt them. Because the deal is, you have all these young actors coming out, and they talked to the guy who coined the phrase, and he was like some Rolling Stone reporter.
Yeah,
and it was a throwaway line.
Awesome.
It's a good phrase.
It is a good phrase. Well, but the whole thing it minimized their acting talent. It minimized their acting talent as just a bunch of, lucky, good-looking, connected kids in Hollywood who have too much too soon. That's really what it boiled down
That's
to.
every lucky connected kid in Hollywood.
It's every lucky connected adult.
I thought he came.
Listen, I would get too, if I ever came across with too much, it would not be too soon. I'll tell you that right now. It would be right on time. If you want to bless me with too much, hit me up.
Exactly.
213-804-6121. Call me right now.
I think he came across that way. Kind of a little whiny. Like the only time I've seen someone have like a documentary and they came across looking the worst. Like everyone he talks to is basically like, yeah, it probably helped us more than it hurt us. But he really thinks it hurt him. I mean, for me, it's bosom buddies. Tom Hanks, right? Like,
yeah.
He was in a show where he was in the stupidest thing you could ever think of. But he's a great actor. He's going to overcome it. I think if you have the chops, you overcome it. I think they're all lucky they were there.
Well, yes and no.
To varying degrees.
Yes and no, because of the fact that there are lots of people who have the chops who've been typecast.
Yes.
And for whatever reason, we're not able to get another gig. So, I mean, that's just the way that Hollywood is, but you're right. He did come across as whiny. He really did, because he thought he was going to be Olivier or something and just won't throw away in Rolling Stone.
I mean, but that's show business, dog. There's never a guarantee. Like Anthony Michael Hall is still getting work.
I mean, Emilio
who would have thought? Out of that whole group.
Out of that 5, out of that 6. Right.
Well, Emilio
that guy
Estevez
works constantly.
Emilio Estevez did well afterwards.
Yeah,
directed.
He's still, he's still doing stuff. And,
but Ali Sheedy
Rob Lowe does pretty well too.
Rob Lowe has done fine. He's done the best. And Rob Lowe talked to him.
And actually, I don't know. Is Demi Moore considered part of the group?
Yeah.
Kind of. St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really a Brat Packy thing.
Oh, ready for this? Yeah. Now, St. Elmo's Fire is considered the ultimate Brat Pack movie with Joel Schumacher. Before he put nipples on Batman's costume, he was doing that, and she talks in it, and as a matter of fact. But here's the worst part: is it's Amazon, I believe it's Amazon or Hulu is doing a St. Elmo's Fire series, and it's like the movie sucked.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't.
It was not a good movie.
No,
it sucked, and there were some good ones too, and it sucked. I mean, I thought and then the cast was great. It was a great cast, I thought. But it sucked. But yeah, but she talked to him. Demi Moore talked to him, and she did fine.
She's probably the biggest star out of everybody, right?
Movie star style. She had all the movies for a hot minute.
As far as whoever highest height for sure.
G.I. Jane, striptease.
Well, don't say G.I. Jane, you can slap.
Oh right, Chris is Will's not here.
I have a kind of a tangential question for all of you. Where did the phrase "the Rat Pack" come from? Why did they call, Frank Sinatra and gang and Sammy Davis Jr. and them as the Rat Pack? Where's that come from?
You know what? I don't know. You know what? They weren't the original Rat Pack, believe it or not. They were not. The original Rat Pack was it was Bogart and Bacall.
Oh, really?
Bogart, Bacall.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
And then they let Sinatra in, and then once they let Sinatra in, Bogart got sick and died, and he.
So you just inherit it after somebody dies from alcoholism. You just get
Yeah,
It's like the Kingsman.
So it wasn't. It was actors first, and then it became kind of more sort of singer, entertainer people instead, or what?
Well, I'm trying to think of who all the originals were, but I know that I know the Bogey and Bacall were part of the original ones, and I don't know who coined the phrase. But the interesting is I should look it up.
Well, yeah, it's also like why rat too? I mean, is there something about snitching involved or something, or is there, or is it something else? Is it about
hearings?
Yeah, he had to talk to the House Un-American Activities Committee.
No,
yeah, he did that. You were in the right.
Again, another complete aside. Okay, have you been following the murder of the CEO of the pharma?
Yes.
Okay, so
UHC, that guy, the insurance company.
Yeah. So the killer got caught at McDonald's. Okay, so McDonald's turned him in, and so there's all these memes going around from like Burger King.
We don't snitch.
We don't snitch, and stuff like that. And it's just like, man, somebody died, but there's some funny memes, and I just.
Well, how many people did that guy kill? You don't get in trouble for making fun of Hitler. He killed millions of people. You can make fun of him all you want.
Okay, you can't. That's not fair.
What do you mean it's not fair? That guy, how many people did he kill? How many people did he kill, Brian? How many people did he kill for money?
Completely not fair.
How many people did he kill for money?
I will tell you a story. I will tell you a story right now about this guy.
Hitler?
Who is not Hitler? Not Hitler.
Are you guys talking about like how many people died from eating McDonald's?
No,
that's a whole different.
Let me tell you.
That's a
story.
choice. You make a choice.
So there was a guy who's a friend of a friend who was going through some hormonal transition things and needed medical treatment and was with that company and kept getting denied every single time. And this went on for a long time. And he needed medical, he or she, I don't know what the correct pronoun is, needed medical treatment. So finally wrote the guy, the CEO, the one who got shot, and the one who got shot immediately took care of everything. Immediately got everything approved, all the stuff that had been, years back that had been denied. He immediately jumped in and took care of it and made sure that this patient had what this patient needed.
Sometimes bad people do good things and good people do bad things.
You can't just paint him as a bad person.
I sure as hell can.
Tell me how. Give me a specific. Give me a specific
he's
example.
In charge. He is in charge of the company and the systems and the regulations that allow them. They're the ones. UHC denied 32%, like the highest denial rate of any of the insurance companies in America. The highest one, right? And they make the most money. And they're like the biggest one in America, right? So if you're in charge of the cats that are denying everybody, causing everybody to die, right? Just because you gave one person a loophole doesn't mean you're not still not a bad person.
Back up.
You're still not a bad person. Listen, we're talking about this oligarchy. No, wait a minute. We're talking about this oligarchy right now. And I'm not a pacifist, but I'm a very peaceful man. But sometimes you got to bully a bully, right? You understand? And so these cats walking around thinking that they're I'm not being unfair. He's being unfair. How many people have died? How many people have died, Brian?
Let me ask you a
your
question.
Kid needed life-saving medicine. If someone you love needed life-saving medicine, and these guys denied you all the time, and maybe you sent him an email, and he never got back to you.
But here's
and your kid died. How mad would you be?
Okay, but here is
how mad would you be?
Here's the
how mad would you be? Would you want to fight him? I might not have shot him, but I would pick a fight. I would go up and try to beat his ass.
I'm not going to defend the pharmaceutical company. What I'm saying is, though, you have to look at it on a case-by-case basis. And are there those?
And in this case, he was a bad person.
Give me a specific example.
32% denial rates.
No. Don't give me the percentages.
Okay, all the doctors who have to work with them.
Out of that 32%, and again, I'm not defending. I don't know
all
the
doctors
specifics.
who have to work with them.
I don't know the specifics, but what I'm asking you is out of that 32%, how many were really not eligible because the treatment would not have worked?
2%.
The treatment was not. I mean,
I'm going to say 2%. What I'm saying is, how do you know? You're not a doctor.
I don't, but I'm saying you got to look at it on a case.
And how many were just denied by computers and AI without an actual medical professional having to take a look at it?
And I'm sure that happened too.
That happened more often than you understand.
I'm sure that happened as well.
No, listen. I bet these insurance companies get a little act right after this.
That they get a what?
A little more act right. They start acting right. I bet you these denials are going to go down a little bit.
No,
I bet you they will.
No,
Let's see what happens next year.
I bet these insurance companies start getting better security. Is what happens.
They can't reward
anyone can get got at any time.
They can't reward somebody getting killed.
It's not a reward. You have to pay. Listen, it's not.
They can't. I mean, no. Forget whether or not the CEO is a bad guy or not. The act of violence being used to sort of make some sort of change, in the name of justice or whatever the case may be, they can't set that example. That they can't reward that and set that as an example. And I mean, all that will do is encourage people to understand use violence to try to make more change in the future.
Do you understand how the French Revolution came about?
I mean,
right? It's the same kind of thing.
Hopefully we've evolved beyond that
we
time.
have not. We clearly have not.
Look at all
the oligarchs. Look at all these people walking around thinking that they're impervious.
The guy.
Right? Sometimes you got to hit a dude. I'm not trying to front.
By the way,
I'm not trying to front.
The shooter in this case had a book club on Goodreads, and the book he chose was the Unabomber's Manifesto.
Yeah,
that's the book that he read. And then he wrote good stuff in his review of the manifesto.
Have you read the manifesto? Ted Kaczynski has some points. I'm not on his side.
That's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he said.
It's one thing to have points. It's another thing to actually.
Listen. One of the problems that we have as lefties and progressives is people aren't afraid of us, and unfortunately, sometimes in America, you have to make somebody afraid so they understand where you're coming from.
So you're advocating violence.
No. I'm not advocating violence. I'm advocating creating a little healthy fear and respect, because these cats think they can just get away with everything.
How do you do that without violence?
Sometimes somebody gets shot. That's all.
That sounds like you support
violence.
I'm not advocating.
It sounds like you support violence.
It sounds like I believe it was Meta World Peace. I might be misquoting. It was some NBA player who said, violence is never the answer, but sometimes it is.
on both sides of the equation.
I mean, how much violence are they perpetrating against us?
People support
how much violence are they perpetrating against us?
People support violence in the name of justice on both sides now, and so I guess that's just the way the world is now. People are pro-violence.
And seeing people forget too. When I was a little kid,
self-defense.
When I was a little,
it's a big stretch to call it self-defense.
How is it
not self-defense? They're actively trying to kill you.
When I was a little kid,
listen.
The violent. Hang on a second. The violent, crazy nuts were on the left. When you're talking about the Weatherman and the Symbionese Liberation Army.
Yeah, you can also talk about the Ku Klux Klan.
That was all
about the John Birch Society.
Of course you can.
It's not all on the left.
It was all. I'm saying when I was a kid, it was all
violence was created as a response to right-wing racist violence. We wouldn't need the Black Panther Party if the Klan wasn't trying to kill people, right? You wouldn't need the Symbionese Liberation Army, which I disagree with.
These were all a bunch of white middle class. These were white suburban middle class.
The Black Panther Party was white suburban middle class people. I'm very confused right now.
When I'm talking about the when I'm talking about the SLA and the
Weatherman, that's how sneaky us white people are. We even ran that.
Listen,
you know what? Look. I don't want to get involved, but I just want to say that
you're involved.
The shooter's name, it just doesn't sound real to me.
Luigi Mangione.
That sounds like somebody made that name up who is really into Nintendo and also listens to 70s jazz fusion.
Yeah, maybe it's a psyop.
Well, that was one of the memes. One of the memes going around is like, why not just call himself Spaghetti Ferrari?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, it does sound fake. They said the last few days, people on LinkedIn, CEOs are changing their title.
Oh yeah,
on LinkedIn.
Yeah, they are.
So
to what?
To Ngaio's point, there are some changes, correct? Like it's not real change, but
there's not going to be one more decision that is affected in any way, shape, or form because of what happened with this.
You don't think
not
so?
One. Not I guarantee you, not one.
Just more bodyguards.
At the end of the day, it's the bottom line. It's still the bottom line.
I'm in the middle here because I completely no violence, but to Ngaio's point, you don't think, let's say, whoever the second company with the highest decline rate. You don't think they're like trying to get down to third or fourth right now? Like they don't want to be near the top. They might start accepting a few more just to statistically stay out of there.
You know, I will tell you, for me, that the scariest part of this whole thing was the fact that that this guy used a ghost gun, and they're so easy to make if you got a 3D printer. I did a drive along with local police here in town where I live, and he was telling me that over the course of 3 weeks prior, that they had a little suburban town where I live, that they had confiscated a dozen ghost guns.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're untraceable. Anybody can get them. I mean that is scary. So now where the hell do we go? You know, yeah, we talked about gun registration and all this other stuff, but when you can make one with a printer at your house, you know, so then what the hell happened?
That's the scariest part.
That scares me. Yes, it didn't scare you. That doesn't scare you. The fact that any nut with access to a 3D printer can print
any nut with
gun.
access to a credit card can go buy a regular gun right now. It's not. I mean, guns. We're Americans, dog. Right? We're guns. We're cholesterol. You understand? We're kind of loud. We're super rowdy. We don't always think things through before we do it, but we generally have a good time. We're kind of greedy. We don't really teach enough. Right? We don't teach. Hey, man, you got enough. Maybe you should smooth out. We teach more all the time.
That's true.
Right? So someone has got to step up every once in a while and be like, all right, you are doing too much. You're doing too much. Right? I'm sorry. Instead of making billions and billions of dollars, you can still make billions and billions of dollars and still keep everybody healthy. Right? People act like these companies aren't making billions of dollars, and then they get all upset. Well, it'll affect our profits. It'll affect your profits by like 5%. So instead of making $1 billion, you make $9.95 million.
Let me ask you.
Relax, bro. Relax. What's $1 billion to you?
Let me ask you this question. And again, I do not want to come off like I'm on the side of big business and big pharma.
No, you're not.
Because I'm not. But I'm asking you this: who, if you are, you know, Ngaio Inc.
Yeah.
And you are the chairman of the board of a $1 billion company that is a public company, and you are the CEO.
Yeah.
Who is your responsibility to? Is it to your workers? Is it to the stockholders?
It's to the planet. It's to the people.
Well, that's
right?
not how
do well
that's
by
not
doing
how business
good.
works.
Benjamin Franklin says, "Do well by doing good." And ultimately, I'm doing my stockholders a disservice if I'm not helping the people that I'm supposed to be helping.
In a perfect world,
right?
you're absolutely right.
You own stock in my company, and I'm denying you health care.
In a perfect world, you're absolutely right. I mean, you could look at examples such as that.
As a lapsed idealist, I still have hopes of a perfect world, but it probably won't happen until after I'm dead.
You look at Costco. The chairman of Costco, cut his, he either denied it or cut his bonus so that he could instead distribute the money to his employees and give them the bonus. I mean, you do have your CEOs.
You do have your CEOs. Arizona Iced Tea was 99 cents for 1,000,000 years.
The flip side is Boeing, a well-respected company forever, starts only worrying about the profits and cutting corners.
Bang, bang.
And they might be gone soon. One of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's not, dude, what happened to good service? You're supposed to offer good service. People pay you good money. You're supposed to give them good service.
Agreed.
Right. And now everybody tries to get away with as little service with as much profit as possible. And that's the problem that I have is you're paying all this money. If we're paying these high insurance premiums, if we got these crazy deductibles because we don't have socialized health care, you want to get the service that you've paid for.
The service is
right. They're supposed to give you the reason
ridiculous.
You give them this money is so that when you get sick, God forbid, when you have some sort of crazy life-threatening problem, they're supposed to jump right in and be like, "Don't worry about it, dog. Everybody relax. You don't have to sell your house. You know what I mean? You don't have to sell your car. You don't have to sell your dog for $25. Right? We're going to get you the help that you need." And they're like, "No, we can't give you the help that you need because we would only make $1 billion as opposed to $1.2 billion if we helped you out."
At the bottom, at the end of the day, it's still about business. But
what sort of business is it, Brian? I'm not trying to monopolize the conversation, you guys, but I get heated up on this bullshit.
No, go ahead.
Because you talk about like, are corporations people, right? Is that corporation going to go to jail for killing millions of people? You understand? Can a corporation face the death penalty for being murderous? Right? So if the people are running you got to talk to them. They got to act right.
When you make statements like that, you're being hyperbolic.
Am I?
Yes.
How?
I think that you're going too far when you're saying they're killing millions and millions of people.
They are killing millions of people.
When you throw it out,
they are killing millions of people. They're denying millions of people basic health care. Health care that they paid for. Health care that they paid for.
However, everybody is not necessarily a candidate for every possible treatment that's available to them.
Why not?
I'll give you a perfect example. My grandmother who raised me, God love her, I miss her to this day. She 85 years old. She had a brain bleed, and she had a stroke and had a brain bleed. And they said that because of the fact that she was 4 days shy of 86, that there was nothing that they could do. If she were 4 days shy of being 46, then she would have been a candidate for some treatment. And even then, it would not have been a guarantee that the treatment would have worked, but at least they could have tried something. But at 86, she was not going to survive that. She was not going to survive that. So what I'm trying to tell you is that
that's not a bad decision. But if someone
how many decisions are like that is what I'm trying to say.
I think small number.
Yeah, that's a small number.
You saw the guy even had, right? He had a
crazy spinal injuries,
right? Deny something, right?
Deny, depose.
It was based on a book.
Right.
It's a title of a book on
Dissent, deny, depose, I think it was.
Yeah. I heard this one this morning. This is it just, and again, not to make Ngaio's point, but how it's the bigger picture.
We've all spent years saying that, but not to make
2019. So this is 5 years ago before COVID, but the biggest company made $33 billion. Total cost for all cancer patients that year was $16.7 billion. So they could have paid all their bills and still made $16 billion.
Okay, but my question then again, and I hate taking the side because I am not pro big.
The devil doesn't need an advocate.
I am not exactly.
Let the devil advocate for himself.
I am not pro big pharma, but again, my question then becomes: of those people who were denied, how many of them would have been eligible candidates for that treatment? That's all I'm asking, and I don't know what the answer.
Plenty. Ask the doctors who have to work with UHC. Ask the doctors who have to work with UHC. They run into brick walls all the time for what should be simple procedures, right? All these insurance companies are always trying to figure out ways. Well, you used to have to stay in the hospital for 3 days for this, but now we've decided that you only have to stay in the hospital for a day and a half because it's cutting into our profit margins, right? We used to give you this medicine, but now, UHC is the company that charged $11,000 per test for the COVID test in the beginning of the pandemic, and it cost them $8 to make it.
And again,
so how can you defend those guys? How can you defend those guys in any way? How can you defend them in any way? Jonas Salk gave away his goddamn vaccine that saved the whole world.
Or that how can you defend these guys? That farmer bro. That farmer bro.
Skrelly.
And I agree with you, but what I'm saying
is, how can you defend them?
We can't paint it all with a broad brush because
no, they've painted themselves with the broad brush. They're the ones out here painting all the bullshit. They're the ones doing it.
That I just have.
Yes, you can. You have to hold people responsible.
But you can't say an entire industry is evil.
Oh, that's just business. It's not just business. These are people. These are people.
And Ngaio,
we're here for the people, man.
And Ngaio, I'm not saying not saying by any stretch of the imagination. Well, then I misspoke or you misinterpreted. What I'm saying is you can't paint the entire industry with a broad brush.
They've painted themselves with this broad brush.
Situations? Yes. Do they make mistakes that cost people their lives? Yes. Will they?
Okay. And who's going to fix it? Who's responsible for it? When they make mistakes that cost people their lives, who do you go see? If you, God forbid, lose control of your car during a medical emergency and hit something or cause an injury, right? They're going to hold you. They're going to be like, Brian, what are you going to do about this?
Well,
right. So these guys, through their negligence and through their penny pinching, cause untold harm to millions of people. And you go up to them and you go, what are you going to do about it? They go, well, we have to protect our stockholders.
Okay, what about the people they save? What about
that's their job? That's their job.
No, actually, it's not.
That's their job. Is to save people. Healthcare should not be a for-profit industry because people will do whatever it takes to keep themselves and their loved ones alive. And so now you have leverage. Now you can just be an asshole. Now something that costs you $10 to make, you can charge $5,000 for it because people will pay it.
And I'm not a fan. And let me be straight on this too. I'm not a fan.
That's the whole thing. If you're going to have this job, if you're going to have this position, you have to act right. You have to be a responsible steward to the community. You know what I mean? You have to be right. You have to be right, and they're not right. They're not right about it.
I'm not a fan of insurance companies. Period. Because what insurance companies?
I will say that someone crashed into my car last week, and AAA has been beautiful.
Okay, now I'll tell you.
I will say that AAA has been amazing and wonderful, and I love them a lot right now. And I'm going to go pay more high premiums when I get my next car because they were great.
I will tell you a flip side of that. When my mother died of sarcoid in 1979 at the age of 36 is when I lost my mother. She's 36 years old. I was 14, and we could not afford to bury her.
Yeah,
we could not afford to bury her. The cemetery let us have a plot, but we were not allowed to put a stone on it until the plot was paid for in full. And I was in my 20s by the time I was able to pay for it. So Grandma was worried about that happening to her. She took on 5 of us by herself. And so AIG, the company that became AIG, they swallow up the smaller fish. So came knocking on her door. We heard what happened to you. You need burial insurance. Pay us $19 a month and we will cover your funeral. So all your funeral expenses are paid for. Because again, I mean, my mother was going to be buried in a pine box, literally, were it not for the fact that there were people in the community who stepped forward and helped pay for this. So
there was a dude on Twitter one time who was like, coffins are crazy expensive. Just bury me loose.
Please let me tell the story.
Go ahead.
Because this is a very important story. All right. So my grandmother paid $19 a month. There were times we went without milk at the house, and I had a baby sister because of the fact that Grandma did not want to miss that $19 payment. And she paid $19 a month for 36 years. So at the end of 36 years, we take the policy to AIG, who owns them now, so that AIG can pay for her funeral. Nothing elaborate, just, a casket and embalming and all the stuff that goes with a funeral's $15,000 or something like that. And what they told us that the policy was worth was about $37. $37 is what it was worth.
Did you want to shoot anybody?
And so we tried court, we tried everything else. You better believe it. And what their defense was that if she had passed away within a year of buying the policy all those years ago, then she would have gotten her money out of it. But the bottom line is that she outlived her policy.
That seems like a specious argument.
It was $37 or $38, something like that, after paying. And it's like, at least give us back the $19 she paid every month for 35 years. So I'm not a big fan of insurance companies.
Did you have to fight somebody, like physically? Did you want to?
We lost. Of course I wanted to. We went to court and we lost.
Yeah, we went to court. Sometimes you need to just go see it.
Because we found out.
I would just be at the CEO's house, like, "Hey, man, what's up? Just give me $5,000 right now."
Well, coming to find out, what they did is that these were policies they sold to Black people.
Mm-hmm.
They targeted poor Black people, and they sold those policies rather than sending a regular life insurance policy that would have covered it to people. Instead, they found poor Black people and go, "Hey, $19 a month." You can afford $19 a month, and now you're covered. Your family didn't have to worry about it. 35 years. 35 years she paid in that.
Yeah.
And that's how much I paid out. So I am not a fan of insurance companies, and they don't always do right. And then there are times, you mentioned the AAA, I'm a State Farm. I got nothing but good things to say about my experiences with State Farm. But it's, it's a complicated issue because at the end of the day,
it's not complicated.
Yes, it is.
It's not complicated.
At the end of the day, it's still
it's very simple. If you pay, if you pay for a service, you should get the service. That is not a complicated issue. If someone hires you for a gig, right, and you don't show up or you don't do what you say you're supposed to do, right? And they're like, well, we're not going to pay you, or we're not. We need that money back, especially if they pay you in advance, right? You're like, I need a 50% deposit. Blah 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 blah.
Okay.
You can actually pay me in advance. I'm gonna show up, and then you don't show up, or you show up and you do 5 minutes. You're supposed to do 40, and you piss everybody off. And they're like, "Wait, bro, we need the money back." You're like, "Well, I got stockholders to consider." Right? If you had called me yesterday, I would have done a much better job.
That's apples and oranges. It's
not. A service is a service. If you pay for a service, you're supposed to receive the service. This is what American commerce is built on.
Oh, well, let me ask you this question.
You can't be baiting and switching. You can't be offering bullshit.
What do you feel about the fact that we are getting less and less service and paying more and more for it? And the example that I will give you is the grocery store. I can't tell you the last time I went to Safeway or went to Lucky's.
Oh, I spent $65 on like 10 items yesterday.
When every single check stand was open. Instead, there's one check stand open. Yeah. They expect you to check out yourself. And here's the gasser. They also put at a lot of these places, they have the balls to put a tip jar. Yeah. Put a tip jar there. No, you're checking out your own groceries, and they expect who you tipping.
We don't teach quality service. We don't teach a good job for a good price. We teach maximizing profits, whatever it takes. That's what we teach. That's what we teach here. Right? What do they call it? Dynamic pricing, right? It used to be that if you were a Giants fan and you could time it right, or you knew somebody, or you lucked out, you could get a ticket to the Giants Dodgers for face value for whatever the rest of the season ticket was or whatever, right? But now, if you want to go see the Dodgers, it's $100 more than it is to go see the Royals. And I get that more people want Dodgers tickets than want Royals tickets or whatever. But the point is, you can't luck into it anymore. You understand? Everything's expensive. Ticketmaster owns the nightclubs and they own the ticket company, right? So they just get fees on top of fees before you
explain
even
to me how that's
service.
not antitrust. Explain to me how is that not antitrust?
It's oligarchy, and people don't. People just see the money. People just see the money, and people just see the analytics, and they are letting it ruin service. They're letting it ruin good business. Right. And where else can you go? They own almost all the clubs. Right. Like, I mean, I support all my local independent nightclubs and stuff, but sometimes you want to go see somebody and they're playing at a big stadium or an arena and you just got to suck it up. And it's ass. It's
I'll never forget
unwashed ass.
I'll never forget the first time that I realized how much power just a handful of companies had in terms of gig. I was driving up to Sacramento to open for the Manhattan Transfer.
Yes.
Remember them?
I love them.
The Manhattan Transfer.
They're still in hot rotation in my house.
And so I was booked by what was then Clear Channel. And they changed to iHeart now because, they're a company with iHeart. Yeah. and
they heart radio.
They heart radio.
No, don't even get me started. So I'm driving up. I'm driving to a gig where I'm being paid by Clear Channel to a concert that is being promoted by Clear Channel. I'm passing billboards on the freeway that are Clear Channel billboards when I get there. So it's like everything from booking the gigs to the billboards to get there to the concert. It's one company that's in charge. And we're going back to the Gilded Age. We're going back to J.D. Rockefeller where you got one guy that owns and controls an entire industry.
Yeah.
Is it
Live Nation is like a company
media,
town?
I know it's no fun to give credit for anything, but do you think that'll help a little? Like, you seem to be hearing more about companies. There's maybe a sea change slowly going that way. That companies are, they're getting called out more than they used to. You know what I mean? Because you wouldn't read this stuff in the paper, but companies can get called out and they get backlash and there's boycotts, and I don't know that they work, but there's at least people to answer to more than let's say 20 years ago.
Okay, so
I would say the FCC was going after Google and all these other things, and we'll see what happens in this new administration. I don't think that they will receive as much problems or flack. But they did just stop the
When's the last time you heard of
merger.
successful? When's the last time you heard of a successful boycott? What's the last successful boycott you heard of? where somebody, where a group decided to boycott a company or a radio or TV station because of a personality or whatever. When's the last time you heard of them actually turning a cable? I can't tell you.
McDonald's
wasn't it the tea that Britain's tea that they stopped? I think they stopped with the tea that was coming in from Great Britain.
I was going to say buses in Montgomery, but I will say this though. When the whole Gaza thing started, everybody was boycotting McDonald's and a bunch of other stuff. So like Starbucks profits are definitely down because of this boycott. And McDonald's has been reintroducing $5 meals. And that's a lot of that has to do with the boycott because they're trying to get people back
and snitching.
Stop going. And snitching. And also, apparently, I just saw this on the online today. There's some loopholes, and the person who snitched may not get the $60,000.
See, but this is my point. He'll get, if that happens, we know it's awful. There'll be a GoFundMe and he'll make 10 times that, right?
Yeah.
Will he?
Yep.
Will he?
Yep.
Nobody wants to give that snitch $60,000.
No, he'll get it.
People don't. Who?
He'll get it.
From the CEO's family?
He'll get it.
There's plenty of people. There's plenty of people.
There were two
I'm not saying
involved.
I'm donating, but there'll be people for sure.
Shit, I wouldn't put my name on a go. I wouldn't put my name and address on a GoFundMe for snitching on somebody like that.
That's
He's asking to have problems.
And Ngaio, you and I are doing a gig together on
New Year's Eve.
On New Year's Eve. So here's what the bet is. The bet is that if for whatever reason they do not give this guy the money, and if for some reason a GoFundMe started, I will bet you dinner at McDonald's. I will bet you dinner at McDonald's that the GoFundMe raises more than $60,000. Is it a bet?
It's a bet.
Is it a bet? All right. Okay.
It's a bet.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Stormy Daniels did fine. She went up. Rachel Maddow was talking about how she.
But she's Stormy Daniels.
She
didn't snitch on an evil person. Well, I mean, she did, but in a good way, right? This McDonald's person is snitching on a hero.
She got
or what's perceived as a hero.
She was $2 million in debt, and going on Rachel Maddow and mentioning her GoFundMe, she ended up getting like 2.1 or 2.2. Yeah,
because she's fighting the good fight. She's not snitching on somebody who's making a statement.
So wait a minute. So you're not,
to be scared.
So wait, back up. So you're saying that you're not fighting the good fight for turning in someone who shot an unarmed man in the back. You're saying that that's not fighting the good fight. I don't know how to.
Don't you think, Ngaio? Don't you think he's got to at least be a martyr? Like, all right, he did it. He can be a hero, but he's also got to suffer the consequences, right?
I mean, yes, of course there are consequences, but don't snitch. Right? I mean, listen, one, don't carry your backpack with the alleged murder weapon in it when you go to McDonald's. That's the first question.
Including the manifesto.
In New York, if you shoot someone in New York, why are you in Pennsylvania? That's too close, bro. You got to be in Wyoming. You got to be in the heart of North Carolina. You got to get out of town, player. You got to find a way. You got 4 fake passports. You should be in Albania right now, lounging.
See, that was what was weird to me because this was so well planned. It was so well planned and so well executed, and then afterwards it like fell apart.
Maybe he's got a deeper plan that we don't know.
He was going to Amish country where they have no news, no media.
Yeah,
where they wouldn't see his photo or TV or radio.
He should have started growing.
He just was making a quick stop at McDonald's before he gave up the rest of civilization. Look, I'm going to have my last meal at McDonald's, and then it's an Amish life for me.
One last happy meal.
That's something I've never understood either. That the whole last meal thing. Okay, you're going to be put to death, but what do you want to eat first? Sure I mean,
I would like a ribeye, a slice of cheesecake, maybe some onion rings, and some pussy.
And you could eat.
Yeah. They're going to kill you anyway. You might as well enjoy your last things. Do you not study Zen?
You could eat? Really? If you knew you were going to die in a couple, 3 hours, and they say you can have whatever you want to eat beforehand, you could eat.
I mean, I would rather get laid, but I would eat. Like, why wouldn't you eat?
That's not on the menu. That's not on the menu.
If you
I'm
were
going to the next phase on a full stomach, bro. I don't want to be standing in line and be like, man, anybody got any snacks? I wish I had 8.
If you were gonna die in a few hours, do you think you'd be able to get an erection?
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. I'm snatching life out of death, bro.
Uh-huh.
You don't even understand. I would be bring me 2, as a matter of fact, because it's gonna be a mix.
Well, I want to thank you all for being on this final. I want to thank you for being on this final Copeland score. Thank you very much for doing this. I appreciate. I appreciate it because YouTube's going to kick us off now. Thanks, Ngaio.
I did not cuss one time.
Much apprecited.
I did not say the F word one time, Brian.
Much appreciated. I just have never understood that idea of, you're loud, and it's always something weird. It's like, if I were going to do it, I would get enough food so it was going to last, past the time they were going to kill me.
Something out of season.
I'm saying,
just still be eating. He's been eating for 13 hours.
Yeah.
Like
there's a story of a guy who did that. There was a guy who was going to be strapped in the electric chair, and his strategy, because all of his appeals failed, was to gain so much weight that it'd be too fat to fit in the electric chair. And they were able to adjust it.
They built a bigger chair. You can't stop the state.
They just built a bigger chair.
Yeah. And that's service.
Chair. And that's service. That's better. So, all right. Speaking of service, are you guys old enough to remember when you got service at gas stations? I was trying to explain that to my kid. Are you old enough to remember that? Remember when they gave you stuff? When they would give you
check your
Coke
tire
glasses,
pressure, wash the windshield.
Yeah. Check the oil.
Yeah. Well, check the oil. You ask them to check the oil.
Yeah.
They still don't. They still
and
do
directions. And directions. Hey man, how do I get to Elm Street from here? Oh yeah, you go down 2 lefts, you turn right, you'll be right there or whatever. You can't get directions from anybody anymore.
Don't they still do it in Portland? I mean,
they still
in Oregon. In Oregon,
will still pump your gas, but not. They've changed it, so it's not as many places now that have the full-time gas changer guy, and they don't check your oil. They don't really clean your windshields. I used to tip a guy in Oregon sometimes. I would tip him if they did a really good job. I'd throw him a buck or two. Hey man, thanks. The Cadillac looks great.
Yeah. Do you miss that time, Brian? Do you?
Yes, I do. I lament the Texaco coins.
Yeah.
You're old like blue chip stamps, huh?
Blue chip stamps. Oh my God. SNH green stamps. Blue chips. Do you know that there is a blue chip, at least as of 5 years ago, there was a blue chip stamp redemption center in Central California. Still one, in case somebody was cleaning out their attic and found a bunch of blue chip stamp books so they could bring it. I'm serious. I'm totally serious. It existed for exactly that reason.
That's awesome.
I mean,
that's like service. That's service.
To your point, there's still some companies. It's got to be
just
changed.
One guy. He's like the guy who works Jack Benny's safe. Did we win the war, Mr. Benny?
Who won, the North or the South? Oh, good Lord. I will tell you this, and see, I've always had an issue with this. So we were talking about tipping stuff, and it is because of for me it comes from my mother, and it's because of the fact that African Americans will often get bad service because the assumption by some white servers is that black people are not going to tip. So what I learned from my mother was to always over tip. And I always have. I've always
I'm a good tipper.
Minimum of
my dad was a terrible tipper though.
25% or 30%, or I mean, unless it's horrible. I always tip really, really well. And the thing that's driving me crazy though now is like everyone, if I go to the dry cleaners, why is there a tip jar?
Tip jar.
Yeah.
Why is there a tip jar? At Starbucks, why, I ordered a drink, you handed it to me, and I even had to pay myself by sticking my card in the thing. Why do I need to tip you? What did you do? What extra service did you provide that I've got to tip you for? Now, I mean, am I in the wrong mindset?
I mean, listen, if they if I had some sort of crazy stain on a jacket and you got it out, I might throw you a few bucks.
Sure.
Right. But yeah, no, I feel you.
What if
I had a large order at Starbucks, like I need 15 lattes and this and that, using it up. Hey, have a couple bucks.
All right. So do you tip? No. Do you tip about those things?
I tip the loose change in the Starbucks. If it's like $4.75, I'll give you the quarter. I mean, I'm not crazy. I'm not reaching in for another $1, but like you can have the loose change or whatever.
What if we just had tip jars on our bodies at all times.
We do. My
and
Cash
people
App
can
is
just-
Ngaio 420, and so is my Venmo, NGAIO 420. You can send me money anytime. I take Zelle too if you need my cell phone.
Kind of
I
do.
said it
I
earlier
guess.
in the podcast. Please send money. Christmas is coming. I have adult kids. They have expensive taste. Please.
Brent, you were saying before you were interrupted.
No,
Go ahead.
I just that's pretty much it. I realize we do have tip jars that are on our person at all time. I mean, digitally.
Homeless people take digital payments now because no one walks around with change and dollars in their pockets anymore.
Do they?
They've had to up their game. They're like, hey man, I don't have any money, dude. I take Venmo. I take Cash App.
Stop,
bruh.
Stop.
You have to. You have to. How are you gonna get? How are you?
It's true though. Nobody's carrying around change anyway.
No one carries around change. Like I'm one of the few people who still walks around with a little cash when I have it in my pocket.
Cash. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got back from Poland for 3 weeks and little of Germany, and no tipping in any of those places. I got to say, it was.
But they also pay a living wage.
The service was better than it is here. I mean, they also might just be something about America.
They also pay a living wage.
Tipping. Yeah.
They pay a living wage.
And they probably have nationalized health care too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly. All that stuff.
Exactly. All that
listen,
stuff.
I think we agree.
Right.
It all comes from the same place.
Don't get me started.
We should all just go European.
I want to end with this. I think this is important. I want to end with this. Joe Manchin, West Virginia, who is a Democrat in name only.
Yeah.
Is getting ready to leave office next month. And he has had this drastic change of heart over the weekend and came out on Monday in support of a constitutional amendment that would impose term limits on Supreme Court justices, meaning that they're
it's too late now.
Lifetime. Well, I know, I hear you, but he came out. He came out behind it. And he supports it. Now, there are people who do not believe there should be any kind of term limits because it takes away their well, I want to say impartiality, but that's not that's not the word I'm looking for. But the independence, their judicial independence, because they're worrying about how long they're going to be there. But I think that they're staying there too long. I just do. And if you get a corrupt Supreme Court, they're there too long. Thoughts?
Yeah.
So should there be an age limit? Should it be like 75, 80?
No, should it be
term limit?
Should it be like term limit? Should it be like,
No.
I think it should be like the abortion term limits. They're only there 20 to 24 weeks. And then they're gone. Make your mark and go.
That would be pretty fun.
It could be
go ahead.
Oh, it could be like a college, professor kind of thing where you get tenure, you have to make it past a certain, you get you have to make it past a certain stage or certain years, and then you can get kind of locked in for a little bit, I don't know.
No one ever gets kicked out though, right?
No one ever has.
I think it's happened once. Didn't it happen once, like in the 19th century or something?
I don't. Yeah, it's definitely not my life. There's never been anyone that's left or.
I mean, they retire, but no one's been kicked out or like.
I guess. Well, I think that if you are so old that your kids have taken your car keys away, you should not be reproductive rights.
Once you get to be about 80.
Is it in?
Yeah, I wouldn't put an age on it. I wouldn't put an age. I would say
10 years, 20 years. What would you say?
I would say two 12-year terms. That's what I would say.
24 years. So you'd be 80 anyway, because you don't get elected to the Supreme Court or selected to the Supreme Court until like 50, 60 years old.
Is it in the Constitution that it's for life, or is that just something we've added to it?
I believe it is. Yeah, it's a co-equal branch of government. Yeah.
I guess if there was limits, it wouldn't be as supreme, as it is now.
The penultimate court.
Yeah, it would be like not so supreme, or maybe just nacho supreme.
Yeah, the nacho.
Call it the nacho Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Which is slang for not so.
But just the same way like the president, we had the presidency in the Constitution, but we didn't have that it was only 2 terms you could run. Until
FDR. Until FDR got elected 4 times.
Added that because it definitely shouldn't be any longer than the president or
I don't know. Third term of Obama might have been all right.
Who was the best president of all time? Lincoln. Was it FDR?
Every single
was it Lincoln?
These historical charts that they put out every year, it's always Lincoln. The top
Lincoln
5.
Or Washington comes up a lot just because the the walking away from power was the first guy that ever did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first guy that ever walked away from power.
But the top five are almost always it's always Lincoln, it's Washington, it's FDR, and for reasons that people always argue about, Kennedy is in there.
Yeah.
And they talk about Kennedy because saying that if Kennedy hadn't gotten killed, Kennedy wouldn't be in there. And I'm not saying I subscribe to that. I'm saying that's what the argument is. But those are
an argument for LBJ, LBJ.
But it's not a good argument.
Yeah, right. Well, they argue that Lincoln might have been LGB.
You're killing
would Lincoln?
It's a living.
Would Lincoln have been voted in again? You think if he didn't have his, if he didn't get Mangione,
he had just won. He had just won re-election.
He'd just been reelected.
Yeah,
he would have been.
He'd won his third term.
He could have won. He could have ran then.
Well, actually, he could have. I guess
that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, would he have done more than 2 terms? You think Lincoln?
Probably.
If he was
probably not, because the country was too divided. Again, it was Confederates that killed. See, I will recommend something to you. See, Manhunt. I think it was Apple TV that did it, because it takes place from the conspiracy to kill Lincoln all the way up to them catching Booth. And I had no idea that it was weeks before they caught Booth, or that he was, this is a guy that was famous. This is a guy that was actually like world famous.
What happened? Did he go to a McDonald's?
And somebody turned him in.
He was the Brat Pack of the 1800s.
He kind of was.
But he shoots the president in a 1,500 seat theater and gets away. He shoots him in the balcony, jumps onto the stage, breaks his leg, and there's 1,500 people there, and nobody thinks, why don't we grab this guy? He has a Derringer. He's only got one shot left in it. Why doesn't somebody grab this guy? Patton Oswalt's in it, and Patton Oswalt's great. Patton's great in it.
I had no idea. I thought he got caught immediately.
No,
that's crazy.
No, they get him in a barn or some shit.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. They burned the barn down. Is what they
Dr.
did.
Zhivago action.
Yeah, but what the deal was is he was trying to get to Canada through the South, because the South, they still believe they're going to rise again, and actually they may have. Yeah. Based on what happened, if you talk to people in the South, they will call the Civil War the War of Northern Aggression.
I sometimes when I'm in a mood, I will walk into some of these Army Navy surplus stores where they have the Confederate flag, and I'll be like, y'all just selling that to make money, or do you believe in it? And then they'll say something like, well, it's states' rights. And I'm always like, states' right to do what? Please explain me what the states' right that was in when their articles of secession, what they wrote in their articles of secession about what their states' right to do. Yeah. And I just kind of look at them, and then sometimes they're like, well, thank you for being so polite about it. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm just here.
And then you go,
to put some festering shit in your heart.
And then you go, and I'll take 2 of them. How much are they?
Yeah, exactly. And then I burn them in the parking lot.
Give me the stock.
Right. Smiling the whole time. I'm very polite.
Yeah.
Who was it that had the nerve to say that in the last year that was it DeSantis, that there were good things about slavery because it taught them trades? Basically, it was a trade school.
Yeah, I think it was DeSantis. They keep trying that.
It was trade, so it taught them how to be blacksmiths and all this kind of stuff. And
the Holocaust was good. It taught people organization. Like it was organization skills. It kind of taught us
how
to manage large groups of people.
A lot of science out of it. Yeah.
It's just insane, and that's that of everything going on right now. And as much as I have stayed away. I was telling you guys off the air. I've been sick with COVID most of the last couple of weeks, and I have since the elections. I'm a news junkie, and I've really had to stay away from it because of the fact that it's just so upsetting, and I know what's coming. I spent 4 years waking up every single morning with a knot in my stomach, grabbing my phone, thinking, all right, what did this asshole do now? I mean, literally, that's it. And so I'm just kind of giving myself, a break, at least a little bit of a break from it. But we know, we know what's coming, and we know that it's not going to be good.
Right now, my relationship with a lot of Americans right now is like the father of a teenager. Like, I'm not even mad, dude. I'm just really disappointed. I thought you would make better choices. I thought we had talked about this. We talked about this just a few years ago, man. We had talked about it. I thought that you were going to be okay. I was really trying to give you a chance, and now, man, just do what you want. Just do what you want.
I relate to that.
That's
a
great.
Lot.
That's I
did you think did you come up on the spot? That's a bit right there. I mean,
I was just thinking it should become a bit.
That's a bit.
That's a great bit.
That's a great point.
It is, because you perfectly encapsulated how I feel.
That's how I feel too. Yeah,
I'm just like,
it's like I don't care anymore. You know,
that's a fantastic
I really don't.
bit.
Yeah, don't come after me. My Venmo is Ngaio 420.
Yeah, because I guess for me that's what sums it up to is disappointment.
Make payment to Carlos Mencia. No, that's messed up. Don't tell.
That's way messed up.
He's not gonna.
That's way messed up. But that's it. Disappointment. Just it's just to think that half the country thinks this way.
Yeah,
it's just.
It's not even that they think that. Listen, the biggest disappointment to me was states where they voted to codify abortion rights, and yet still voted for the person who's trying to take abortion rights away.
Yeah,
and that just proves the depth of the racism and sexism inherent in American culture. Because how do you vote for this thing and then vote against the person who's trying to, or vote for the person who's trying to do it to you, right?
Well, they said that this election was going to be. They said this election was going to be a referendum on women. Do you think that America hates women?
America does not like women or black people. They tolerate them because they like the things that women do, and they like black culture. They love black culture. Hang on a second.
Let's keep it to gender. Do you think that America hates women?
Yes.
That's simple. Nothing else. No.
Hate may be a strong word. I think patriarchy.
Did you see Barbie?
Yeah, Barbie is the Black Panther for white women. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong.
I hadn't quite thought of it in that way.
Yeah, I saw Black Panther when it came out of the theater. I saw that Black Panther movie like 4 times.
I saw it twice.
Yeah.
I saw it twice.
Yeah, right. And I know people who've seen the Barbie movie, went to the Barbie movie 4 or 5 times. White women.
Just all dressed in pink.
No problem.
All dressed in pink.
But even then, like, dude, if the patriarchy in America has problems with women, they had a chance. They've had 2 chances.
2 chances.
Right?
It's
not black women that are voting for Trump.
Right? I'm only going to push back that Hillary won the popular vote. It's our system that screwed that up. Right? It's this, like, more people voted for her. She did get the popular vote. So yes, I don't think against the guy.
55% of white people voted, or white women voted for Trump.
Yeah.
Actually, it was 52. In 2016, it was 52, but it was this past time it was like 55. So I just don't understand.
I think the country loves women's bodies.
Face-eating leopard party.
I think Brent's right.
I think they love their curves, Yeah, I think the country loves women's curves, and they like this. I guess the country loves their smell.
Kate Willett has a great bit about how it's easier to sell patriarchy than it is to sell feminism, right? She's like, patriarchy is easy. Like, hey, you like boobies? Come on, we got them right here, right? And it's like, if you like feminism, well, I'm not going to show you my boobies, but I've written a poem about their power.
Who does this?
Kate Willett. Kate Willett. She's hilarious.
That's brilliant.
Willett. Kate Willett.
Yeah.
That's very brilliant.
Funny. Yeah.
That's absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant.
It's the truth. And the thing that really for me cemented, the whole point of what the patriarchy was about is, you make this movie Barbie, this entire movie about the patriarchy and about men being in charge and everything else, and who gets the Oscar nomination? Who gets the Oscar nomination? They don't nominate Barbie.
He was great. He was great.
He
deserved it.
He was great.
He was the best part.
That's not the point, though. It's just
what kind of is?
The messaging. The messaging was off.
Comedies don't get Oscar nominations in general.
This goes back to Andrew McCarthy. Maybe he just wasn't the greatest actor.
We've come full circle after 90 minutes.
Ryan Gosling was the best actor in that movie.
I don't know, man. I thought that, I thought Mannequin, he was, the Academy should not have overlooked Mannequin.
We can really better together. Nothing's gonna stop us now. That Kim Cattrall?
Yes, it was Kim Cattrall. Yeah. And it was Starship that sang nothing's gonna no.
On the heels of Porky's, Kim Cattrall.
Oh, she in Porky's?
There are
She's
movies.
Lassie.
I saw there was an article that was one of those the clickbait things going around about movies that are beloved classics that just don't that haven't aged well.
Yeah.
And
Revenge of the Nerds.
And Revenge of the Nerds is the first one on the list.
Boy. It was problematic when it came out.
It was weird when it was new, it was weird then, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But Porky's is not on the list.
As a young teenage boy, had no qualms when that happened in the movie the first time. Now I'm saying I know I'm wrong now, but at the moment there was nothing, and I didn't take a message away from it at the time saying, oh, I think that's okay to do or anything. I'm just saying I didn't blink an eye. It seemed like, that's very funny.
And you hated the boyfriend so much.
Yeah.
They villainized and demonized. However, not that makes it right. But
I mean, listen,
I'm
all for stealing the girl from the villain, but you have to do it properly.
You have to do it.
You have to do it without a mask on.
Right. And the other one that surprised me, that's one of my all-time favorite movies, Chasing Amy. You ever seen Chasing Amy?
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
Well, Chasing Amy is that it in some way demeans lesbianism by saying that there are no real lesbians, that they're all fluid.
Oh, yeah.
And that all they need is the right guy. And that was never the message that I took.
I didn't either.
Away from that movie.
Maybe she's just bisexual.
Pardon?
Maybe Amy's just bisexual. Why does she have to be a lesbian? She used to be bisexual.
But
also, I know some lesbians who every once in a while, it doesn't make them less gay.
Yeah.
16 Candles is the worst. 16 Candles.
Yeah, that Long Duck Dong. Worst. That guy, the super racist movie one. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Okay, so here's one that got messed up for me. Oh my God, this got messed up for me. I've got a granddaughter. She's 2 years old, and I was showing her yesterday. Do you remember those Rankin Bass? They play them every year, every Christmas. Rudolph, all that claymation stuff. Rudolph and all that. Well, my favorite one was always the one Santa Claus is Coming to Town, which is Santa's origin story with Mickey Rooney and the whole thing. Yes. Okay, so there is a scene where toys are illegal. In Sombertown, toys are illegal because the guy in charge,
the Burgermeister von Meisterburger.
Yeah. Burger. He tripped on a train, so now nobody can have a toy, or you go to jail.
Right.
If you have a toy. All right. So he's sneaking toys in, and he sings this song where he's putting kids on his lap, and the song is,
"Oh, if you sit on my lap
today, a kiss a toy is the price you'll pay."
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this going, "Whoa, this does not age well."
It was a different time.
It's been on my lap.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
But Porky's is not on that list. And you know what else? What is on that list, and I can't remember why, is Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which I don't know why.
I don't recall anything particularly.
Well, they're kind of full frontal nudity in that, I guess, and they're supposed to be teenage. They might be even underage or something, right? Or I don't know, something.
They're definitely
there's some peeping Tommy.
Okay. Let's leave with this. Okay, we'll leave with the Christmas movie debate. Okay, Love Actually, Christmas classic, piece of crap.
Dude, I can't.
Have you seen it? Have any of
Which
you
one
seen
is
it?
that one? Is that the Hugh Grant?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't
Seen it
even
many
remember
times.
if I saw it or not. You know,
I don't know if I've seen it.
I've seen it many times, and I will say this is one of those. It's both.
Classic piece of crap.
Classic Christmas piece of
Buckaroo
crap.
Banzai.
It's such an easy watch. It's very fun. There's lots of good looking people, good acting, great screenwriter. This guy did like 4 Weddings and a Funeral and a few other great movies.
That's a good movie.
It's well written, but it's garbage, but it's fun.
It does have my main man Rowan Atkinson in it. You know, I got to give it up for that.
Yeah,
He's
it's got
Rowan
Rowan
Atkinson.
Atkinson.
You know, I mean,
And Emma Thompson gives an amazing, gives a masterclass performance
Cheers. Yeah.
in this thing. But there's so much stuff about it that's just wrong. You know, that's just the whole Keira Knightley thing.
Yeah.
You know, where she's, you know, her
friend. Yeah.
her husband's best man, who's the photographer, is in love with her, and she's 17, and it's just, you know, there's just so much.
is that right?
Just, you know,
England in the 90s was different.
yeah.
Well, how about that movie?
Fair.
There was that movie, Blame It on Rio, I think it is.
Yes, yes.
And it's a kind of a similar
Demi
thing,
Moore.
right?
Demi Moore's first movie.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
It was Demi Moore and Michael Caine.
Michael Caine, and it's his friend or it's Michael Caine. He starts falling for the daughter who's 17 or something like that.
That's right. That's right. It was like kind of a little
Crazy.
leader.
And he's married too, I think, too.
To Valerie Harper.
Love Actually, besides being Christmas, it's also got a anti-Bush message in there. There's Billy Bob plays a kind of Texan president that they kind of fight with. So there's some fun kind of stuff in it.
So I guess Christmas Eve we know what you're doing.
Yes, I will be watching Love Actually.
I will tell you I watch one Christmas movie every Christmas Eve when I'm wrapping presents and I have not missed it in years, and I will not miss it this year, and that's Die Hard. I'm sorry. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I don't care what what Willa says. I don't care what anybody says. Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Lethal
Interesting
Weapon.
how Reginald Vell Johnson plays the same character in Family Matters, you know?
I thought they were the same person.
I mean, it's kind of interesting how that's his character, you know?
That's his
He's
brand.
like, let's make a sitcom based on the cop from Die Hard.
Yeah, why not? Listen, Ray J. Johnson had a career.
Yeah. Well, with that, gentlemen, we've got
you can call me Ray, or you can call me Jay.
He doesn't have to
you
go.
me doesn't. Gigs. I'll come to you last, Ngaio. Brent, anything you want to plug?
I got a New Year's Eve show at the Dynasty Typewriter Theater in Los Angeles. It's at 9 p.m. It's on New Year's Eve.
That is a great theater. My first show, solo show, Not a Genuine Black Man. I performed there, and when it was called
the Hayworth.
When it was the Hayworth.
Mm-hmm.
It was Hayworth. Yeah. And in fact, it was new owners, and I was the first show that was in, and I ran in about 6 or 7 months. It was a beautiful. Is La Fonda still there? The Mexican restaurant downstairs?
Yeah, well, I know there is a Mexican restaurant that's right there, so maybe it is the same one.
Yeah, it's been there like 60 years. It's like a landmark.
Yeah.
Well, so good, but no, that's a beautiful theater. Beautiful theater. Steve, you got anything you want?
No, I just had to back out of a New Year's gig because of some conflicts, but find me on social media, Steve Mazan at Steve Mazan on Instagram, all that kind of stuff. And I have a movie podcast called the Mazan Movie Club, where we just watch a movie each week. So,
that sounds like fun.
Those two
I want to be on it.
What's next?
I'll check it out.
You know, I'm taking a little break for Christmas. We actually just did Clerks. That was the last movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
You did Clerks?
Clerks, yeah.
They're actually going to do a Clerks 4.
That's right. I haven't seen 3. I heard it was bad.
I've seen 2. I didn't even know there was.
It was great. Yeah.
The first one still makes me laugh.
It was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Kevin Smith. First one's okay. And Ngaio,
we're doing New Year's Eve in Castro Valley.
Castro Valley Performing Center for the Performing Arts. Big show. It's me. It's you. It's Johnny Steele. It's Joe Klosik.
Yeah. Some heavy hitters.
Yeah, Carla Clay.
And it's an early show, so you get your old ass to bed.
That's the whole plan is to do it at 7, so we're done by 9:30, so we're home by the time that the drunks are on the road.
Right.
I hate being out on the road after midnight on New Year's Eve. I just absolutely hate it. With all the drunks that are out. So
I have to get up early. I'm making oxtails. So.
Ooh, I'll come by if you're making oxtails.
Happy Kwanzaa, everybody.
I'll bring the black eyed peas.
Hey, you know what? I bought my black eyed peas 2 weeks ago because if you wait till the 29th and try to buy some black eyed peas,
no, you can't.
There's none left in the store.
There's none left. None.
I'm actually proactive sometimes.
Brent Weinbach, Steve Mazan, and Ngaio Bealum. Hey, a pleasure. I hope you all come back and do the show again. And next time on Ngaio, we'll let somebody else talk.
My bad. You got me heated up.
Oh, I did. No.
Yeah, you did.
I'm the pharmaceutical companies. I'm the one that got you heated up. Yeah, it's my fault. It's all my fault. All right. You guys take care. If I don't talk to you, happy holidays. And Ngaio, I will see you on New Year's.
Happy holidays.
Ciao.
Happy holidays.
And Ngaio, Brian, Brent, great seeing you.
Nice to see you guys. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Bye, guys.